We are live. This is the Kaizen Market Update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, please hit the like button. Let's welcome who's here. Horace, Corey, welcome. Welcome to the show. Greg, Leo, Huber's Ranch. Hi there. Miguel, Jelster, Daniel Plays Paintball, SGSG, Tom Harold, welcome. Marvin's Journey, Peter, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Kaizen. We need a little caffeine this morning with this market. It's a little slow, but we're going to sort it out. We're going to have kind of a very frank discussion today about what's going on with the election. I have good news in crypto. Okay, let's start with the good news. I've got it in the slideshow, but I'm going to do it now. And I think the market is telling you this. It's kind of all about Solana, right? I think Solana is single-handedly saving the market, right? Or Solana could be the market in absence of any disturbances, because of this ETF play, because Cathie Wood is involved, etc. Right? It's Bitcoin because of all the uncertainties out there, and Solana because of the ETF story. And everything else is like, and this idea of moving whatever that's not working into one of these two coins, it's not investment advice, and everyone has to manage their own book. But it's pretty clear what the market's doing in the short term. Okay, let's just see if anyone else has joined. We have Breakfast Roll. Good morning. Marvin is here. Do we see base plays reaching and exceeding their all-time high when Bitcoin eventually takes off, or should we worry? All right, so Rick is saying, let's go base memes. I saw Brett doing well. Okay. All right, so let's answer Marvin's question before we get rolling. I think when it comes to like some of these much higher quality plays, which frankly, I'm putting the base coins in that group, they're going to come back when the tech part of crypto rises to the forefront. And the tech part of crypto will rise to the forefront when crypto becomes money. Crypto is a must-have form of money. That'll be followed by real-world assets. And then the tech part of crypto is AI and crypto. So if you're in one of those three areas, maybe you include DeFi and SocialFi, because I would include DeFi in with real-world assets, then those coins are going to turn around. Now, what moves first? I'm assuming it's Bitcoin. Right. I'm assuming it's like the Bitcoin and the ETF cryptos. That's the new nickname for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, is the ETF cryptos. The ETF cryptos will take off, and it should take the whole rest of the market with it, because legacy infrastructure, I don't know. Legacy infrastructure could be in trouble, shaky, or crack. And as scary as that sounds, and as scary as that will be when that happens, everything that has to do with, I don't know, all the categories I listed about crypto, money, DeFi, SocialFi will come back. Real world assets will come back. AI will come back. However, you have to wait. Markets frequently transfer wealth from people they transfer the wealth from the people who are not patient to the people who are patient. And this market, like no bull market I've seen in crypto, is testing people's patience in such a way that it's painful. And again, we're going to talk about some of this political uncertainty here in a minute. I mean, really, at this point, that's the problem. And the politics and the geopolitics, who knows? That could have been the problem the whole time. Okay, so the answer to your question, Marvin, is yes. Stuff will come back. All-time highs, I don't know about, but stuff will come back. Right? Double X Breakfast Roll, Arendam, Cryptonomic, Crypnotic. Welcome. David. All right. What will be the next support for Arrow currently going downhill? All right, well, let's throw that up here since I'm assuming people are interested in Arrow. Again, with stuff like this, you could be witnessing a hedge fund or a venture capital liquidation. All right. So good news, bad news. The bad news is, like, if you look at a daily chart, a 20-hour chart, the support in Arrow is at 50 cents. That's kind of grisly. Okay. On a 4-hour chart, so this is let me label this. This is Arrow 4-hour. On Arrow 4-hour, it doesn't get any better. It's like 53 cents. Now, your best hope is that Arrow winds up holding 62 and this puke brings it to an end. So, you have a warning signal about a bottom on Lux Algo with this X, right? The buy signal in Arrow technically was up at 67 cents, and this could be a blow-off bottom. This blue candle here means, in theory, it's called a squat bar in Williams analysis, which means the low could be plus or minus 2-3 candles. You're also in this like deep oversold situation, right? We're inside this like green band. So, I mean, the extreme case is 53 cents. You're hoping for a recovery above 62. This is clearly a give up trade, right? The thing that's funny is I'm not seeing what I would normally see for a full liquidation trade here yet. This is the 20-hour chart. So, I don't want to give you false hope. There should be a bottom at 62 cents. If there's no bottom at 62 cents, you're looking at 50 cents. I mean, when these liquidations trades start, it's tough to figure out why. It really is. Okay. I hope that helps in a land where there is no help with this particular coin. Okay. 62 cents is your key level. All right. Now, politics. We're going to have to start getting more and more direct when it comes to this, right? There's no way to talk about this in a quiet, clean way anymore. So let me give you an update if anyone's not following this outside the United States. So the current president currently has health problems. He's had them for a while. Now, however, because of the debate, it's in the national news media, and everyone's acting like they're shocked. So the first thing that they're trying to do here is denial. They're trying to deny it's happening, almost like something out of the book 1984, which I read in high school about like a future dystopia, where he says the party's final trick is to try to get you to ignore evidence that you can see with your own eye. Now, that may be true, but that's like, why would they do that? And what does that have to do with markets? I can't make that connection. However, it does feel like, it almost feels like they're trying to lose on purpose. Like, how can you be this inept? How can you leave this guy in there? Like, what is going on? Okay, so here are two outside the box theories. So here's Kamala Harris, right? This is the current vice president. She is the vice president, so she's been there, right? And she's got, let's just say she's got the right look. So if she's got the right look and she's already vice president, why isn't she automatically in there? I mean, come on. She's not a great speaker like Obama, right? And, she's better than Biden, but, a far cry from great public speaking. But it's clearly better than whatever they've got going on now. Not doing it. They're just not doing it. She's trying to use a campaign, like she's trying to say, I've got leverage because my name is on a campaign speech. and she's claiming that, somehow they're prejudiced against her for whatever reason. So if they don't want the current vice president and they're trying to fool you, or they're trying to be in denial about Biden, what's the game? Well, game number one, I'm going way outside the box here. Game number one is to lose to Trump on purpose and leave Trump holding a giant bag of economic and geopolitical problems to make sure he really goes down. That the country's going to fall. If Rome is going to fall, let it be on Trump's watch. Otherwise, why would you lose on purpose? Now, the other theory, which I like better, is that they're looking for this guy, Gavin Newsom. By the way, thank you to whoever corrected me on what the right Newsom coin is. This has 239,000 in liquidity and a 2.7 million market cap. And in no way is this a trading recommendation or investment advice. This is for visuals only on these meme coins. Okay. Now, if you wanted this guy Newsom, who essentially is like the Trudeau of U.S. politics, in other words, tall, handsome, and quietly on the absolute radical left, right? In my opinion, if you wanted this guy, how would you get him? Well, what you would do is you would create so much cringe by like putting Biden out on TV where, he has trouble talking, just sad. And you would create so much uncertainty. So give me cringe, give me uncertainty, give me strife. And then everyone in the Democratic Party goes, oh my God, give me a savior. Give me anybody other than poor Joe Biden. And then somebody goes, hey, how about Newsom? I think this is the guy that they've wanted the whole time. That's an opinion. Now, I got that from somebody who I know who's a friend who does all this, right? If it was Michelle Obama, they would have brought her in a long time ago. They don't need to bring in Michelle Obama a month before the convention. They would have brought her in a while ago. They're setting this up so that this guy is the one. Now, if that's not true, if they just want to put Bowden up there and Bowden just loses, that's fine for crypto. That's probably fine for capital markets too. Except for the fact that the guy's not with it in the middle of multiple financial and geopolitical crises. Other than that, right? But if Bowden just goes up there and loses, that's probably very crypto friendly, which is why Bitcoin and Solana are going to have a bid. They're going to have a bid until equities come unglued. But this guy, in my opinion, is why equities are soft. Something is up because the man is sick. And the fact that he's not out yet should be a warning sign. This is the website, The Great Replacement. Okay. This is joke, not a joke. Okay. Now back to the economics, right? And who's going to be left holding this bag? Okay. The Fed is saying that we should get ready to cut rates. Huh? You mean a Fed governor in Chicago, where they have like a lot of social disorder? Yeah. He says inflation is on a path to 2%. In other words, prices have topped. They're absurd, but they've topped. They're not going any higher. You've heard this before from me, right? They've topped. Now, holding rates as inflation falls is a decision to tighten. Wow, he must watch the show. In other words, you cannot leave rates at 5% and expect the government to finance themselves, expect people to buy cars, pay their credit card bills. Everybody's having one last big hoo-ha trip on cards, and they're going to let them all go. They're going to let them all go. And he sees this. I don't know why the rest of them don't. Why are they keeping Fed funds at 5%? I don't know. To hold up the dollar? To hold up the dollar. Okay? So here is Tucker Carlson weighing in kind of a more direct way. Okay? So according to Tucker, Bowden is done. Okay? They can't walk that back, what happened on the debate. I'm telling you, folks, if it's Newsom, it's capital markets negative. You got to remember, whoever they put up there is going to be competitive in a three-way race. And I've said this. So what's going on there matters. Hong Kong Shanghai Bank curbs hiring, reins in banker travel. cost cutting. Again, when there's trouble on Wall Street, there can be trouble on the economy. Okay, trust me, I've been there. Crypto relief rally may be the beginning. Sellers exhausted. I would think sellers in Solana are exhausted, but as you can see in certain altcoins, when you have stuff that's down only, okay, you'll know. One thing I didn't tell you about Arrow is, you'll know when the liquidation in something like Arrow is over when it goes up 20 cents in one day, right? In other words, the liquidation will just stop and then it'll reset itself. From what level, we don't know. But Bitcoin, not going anywhere unless it's a stock market calamity. I do think there's going to be a stock market problem, but Bitcoin is fine. Okay. Solana, you heard this, right? Okay. So again, at 60, it's bearish. At 64, it's bullish. The media is running out of stuff to write about. Okay. Solana-based tokens are moving. Now, again, we got to keep our eye, in my opinion, on WIF, right? So the good news is WIF now has a bunch of support below it. It's good, right? And as long as WIF doesn't do a brutal top, okay, so here's WIF on a 20-hour chart. Okay, WIF is down, not the end of the world. Okay, 225 was my point. It's now at 222. Okay, this is leveraged Solana. So if WIF holds, good. WIF doesn't hold, you have to think about the highly speculative sectors because people are clearly, it just feels like people are slowly moving out of that stuff into Solana itself. Not exciting, but true. Okay, so Bitcoin, in terms of flows, is like kind of eclipsing and in a way decoupling from the rest of crypto, because the worse equities trade, the more likely people are going to be to park money in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a parking lot. And the only way you're going to have a disturbance in Bitcoin is if equities get wrecked, which again is very possible because remember, today is July 2nd and the Democratic National Convention is in August. So whatever is going on with Biden, the longer they draw this out, frankly, I think the more likely it's Newsom, but the longer they draw this out, the more crypto's a parking lot and the more these other legacy assets are going to have to get real. Because if you don't know who's going to win this election, like when they switch Biden out, like there won't be a relief rally off Biden being switched out, right? Depending on who they put in there and how competitive they can be, and especially since it's a three-way race. Now, naturally, I just want to bring up I don't think it's going to happen, but the most bullish thing for crypto ever would be if Kennedy was the Democratic Party's nomination. If he switched over to the Democrats, because he wants to back treasuries with Bitcoin. A lot of people have forgotten that because Trump's got a huge amount of star power. Okay, so Van Eck confirms Solana ETF bet is a bet on a Trump victory. So they view, obviously, Trump as the pro-crypto candidate. And Trump probably does prevail in the end. Probably. But how scary can they make it? Also, don't forget, he just won something in the Supreme Court, but they're due to sentence him in New York on a conviction related to his personal life. So there are a lot of catalysts here, and there is a lot of reasons to park money in Bitcoin and stay away from super risky assets, in my opinion. Okay, Bitcoin July rebound with massive inflows into ETFs. So, the media is looking for something to write about, honestly. Okay, eco-protesters in Kenya. Okay, runaway government spending drove inflation. Now it's driving massive tax hikes. Okay, people are rising up from the ballot box in France to the streets of Nairobi. Governments naturally are handling it how they always do, with coercion. Okay, coercion is a word I learned in business school about how governments really operate. Okay, let's go to PowerPoint. Okay, unfortunately, very briefly. So we're continuing to watch French equities. Europe supposedly had this relief rally like, oh my God, thank God the world didn't end off this election, when in reality, it's not clear whether or not these people who are in power are going to want to leave the euro. It's not clear. So you have political uncertainty in Europe, and the stock market in France didn't rally. Now, what does this have to do with crypto? I don't know. It means Bitcoin and Solana are parking lots until further notice, right? Until further notice. And even if they wind up going down, there may be a very strong bid down there, because if this comes unglued, where's the money going to go? Really? Now, I mean, that doesn't mean money goes into any particular altcoin, because altcoins can suffer, but you get the idea. Now, this is US stocks. This is S&P futures on the 20-hour chart. So you had a bunch of sell signals, and really all it's done is go into a range, right? NVIDIA seems like it's holding. You don't think you're going to have a stock market problem today, but a stock market problem is possible. Geopolitical, banks, and you don't know what's going on with this election. A Trump victory is assumed. Okay, if that assumption is challenged in any way, that creates volatility. Okay, Solana, upside targets, as we talked about, could be 156, could be 170. Let's hope so. Every day Solana is up is a day the crypto market holds. Every day that stocks don't go down, that's a day the crypto market holds. Is it exciting? No, but that doesn't mean you don't have to make preparations for what I think is going to be ungodly volatility later this month and in August. Like, there's just too much stuff out there. I mean, why is the Fed governor going, hey, interest rates too high? What's he looking at? Well, he's looking at the same thing we're all looking at. Just they haven't said the quiet part out loud yet, which again is why, BlackRock and all these characters are parking money in Bitcoin. Okay. Again, the dollar, underneath support, dollar yen continues to go up. It just continues. It goes up every day. Let's just go to the live TA on that. I mean, I know this is not having like an immediate impact on crypto, but you cannot have the yen go down every single day. Okay. Let's just like look at a chart of this so we know what's going on, right? So this is a 20-hour chart of the dollar versus the yen. Okay. Sell signal, sell signal, sell signal for the dollar, sell signal, overdone money flow, right? Every reason to think that this should top, and it just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. In other words, the yen keeps falling and the dollar keeps rising. And if you want to know why crypto, frankly, stinks, this is why. Because this thing just goes up every day. Now, there's support underneath. This is 160. So that used to be resistance, and that's now support. And I really wish they would just get this over with so the market can go back to normal, honestly. But in the meantime, sometimes people ask me about silver. Okay, silver has a creeping bid to it. I like it. Okay, this is like a 20-hour chart. So it's like my new version of the daily. Okay, this could also be good for Ethereum, as money flow starts or stays positive in silver. So at some point, people are going to go for the safe haven. Like, what in crypto is a safe haven? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Okay, and maybe some of the layer ones. Like, I was thinking stuff like Near. Like, I haven't looked at Near in a while. Like anything that can be the rails of a new system. Like, I looked at Ohm. Okay, so to me, let's try a 4-hour chart. Okay. Near is approaching resistance, but, Near has a bid to it. You know what else I saw had a bid to it? Was Ohm. Like Ondo is having problems. Okay. But I notice Ohm kind of has a bid to it. We'll see if that holds. I mean, this has had like 2 strong up days. There's resistance at 83 cents. And if it takes out 83 cents, then you know what? BlackRock is in here borrowing money. They're using treasuries to buy as collateral to borrow stable coins. Now, again, this is at resistance. So we have to be chill about these things. Somewhere in here, there is a trade for the new rails for the system. It just may not be today. And there may also be people out there who are looking to buy, right? It's like, all right, Bill, clean up my portfolio. Is it time to buy? Is today the day? Okay, probably not. Probably not. In other words, the worst thing you could do in crypto is have to wait and do nothing. And sometimes that's the right trade. Waiting is a part of the game because being patient, particularly with all these weird catalysts out there. All right. So can you do a live TA on Cardano? Okay. Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's do it. Cardano and Caspa I see there. All right. Let's do some Cardano. Okay, so Cardano's waking up, right? Like the most optimistic upside target for Cardano I could come up with, is 44 cents. It's funny, I was just talking about layer ones doing well, and there's Cardano. Okay. Money flow in Cardano is trying to go positive. So, there is a possibility that momentum is building for something better here. Okay, let's go to a Cardano 4-hour chart. Okay, so your upside targets in Cardano are 42 cents and 44 cents, according to Lux Algo, right? Money flow in the short term is very good. I mean, honestly, money flow hasn't looked like this over here. This was a giant bull trap. All right. I don't see any sign of this stopping. Let's put it that way. And there are going to be coins that are going to do well when everything else isn't. So perhaps the market has decided that Cardano is a place to hide. And of course, if you look at the big picture, that could make sense because you know what? Cardano hasn't done anything. Like if you look at the whole bull market, like Cardano is still where it was. Cardano is still where it was back in May of last year. Cardano hasn't gone anywhere, hasn't moved, right? Like this is the case to not give up. Now, of course, on a daily chart, again, like I said, you got resistance up here at 45 cents. Sometimes buying strength in this market hasn't paid. But if I was holding Cardano, would I leave it? Yeah, man, leave it. Leave it. I mean, because if you look at the money flow here, clearly over the last, clearly since April, there has been a colossal give up trade in Cardano. Look at these red on red splotches. I mean, people just said, I'm done. Leave it. I mean, if you get hosed, what are you going to do? Have it go down to 35 cents? You already lived through that. If it goes down there and you want to stop out, okay, fine. But why not give it a chance? Now, again, you wake up and you see equities down 2%, you have to make a move. But right now, you don't. You don't at all. All right, what else we got here? Okay, so somebody just saw a post that says FTX will be giving out $16 billion to its customers. Okay, well, I mean, in that case, particularly if it depends $16 billion worth of what, right? If it's $16 billion worth of Bitcoin, yeah, okay, Bitcoin will go down 5%, and then BlackRock and Michael Saylor will take it all. If it's $16 billion worth of, I don't know, anything other than Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, okay, yeah, people might sell. Naturally, this also brings up the point that if there is a disturbance in risk assets and people are sitting there with their finger on the sell button, it only takes one thing to get it going. Like I said, all the more reason to be aware and prepared. Okay. Brandon says short the housing market, long crypto. Yeah, man. If you can get liquidity in housing, I mean, housing affordability has to change one way or the other. Predicting that is tough, but like, would you rather own an overpriced house that has nowhere to go but down and pay taxes and upkeep, or buy crypto? I don't know. That doesn't even seem close to me. Okay, so there's TrueFi. TrueFi is in here, okay, and Caspa. All right, so here's Caspa. Okay, keeping in mind this was a leader on the way up. Okay, so straight up daily chart. Caspa's on good support. Like, it broke out, it came back, it retested. I don't know, man. Like I said, you have Solana holding, it becomes a market of cryptos. The best case scenario in Caspa is 20 cents. Okay, my opinion on this, unless there's something like new and fundamental driving this. Okay, so this is different than Cardano. This has been outperforming. It's kind of the same way I feel about Ondo. Now, people may pile into the winners. That makes sense, especially if it's a momentum trade. Not hating on it. But when you get something that's outperforming dramatically and it gets overextended, I don't know that this is overextended now because it's holding support. But if you get something that's outperformed that goes way up and people get euphoric, that's when you get out. Right now, again, it's an object in motion. No problems in legacy. The bid's got to go somewhere. I mean, this retested an old high, this old zone. This is fine. You know, if you were long this, leave it. Okay. Now, I assume we're talking about True F for this request. Okay. Let's actually do that. I don't know. Let's do it on KuCoin. Let's see what I get. Okay. So this is the Boil the Ocean coin. I probably should do this over here. So like I said, my opinion on Trueflation is as follows. They wanted to do something really big, right? They want to replace like the Bureau of Labor Statistics and Wall Street. That's a pretty big mission, dude. That's pretty big. Okay. In business school, they might call that boil the ocean. If you want to replace the Bureau of Labor Statistics and Wall Street, you're going to need a lot of money. You're going to need a lot of money. Now, the market cap on this, okay, is still pretty high if you look at the fully diluted market cap. And this has all the hallmarks of a venture capital puke. It's like Arrow, right? Somebody, Coinbase Ventures, I don't know who, somebody big is just liquidating this indiscriminately. And you may never know who until it's over, until they stop. Like, what can I draw on a chart? I don't know. Let's see if this comes up. Oh, it does come up on Lux Algo. Okay. So obviously, you know, here is this red on red area. That just indicates heavy puking. So this could be over soon. Okay. And the problem with this is like every time it breaks down, like Lux Algo inserts resistance. So it's like you think it's over, but it just keeps cracking. So unless people are willing to come in and pay higher prices, it's stuck. You know, the saying that I use that you use in legacy that you don't really use in crypto is dead money. In other words, there could all these projects can come back eventually. But if you're looking for some like glorious bottom and then all the way back up, the only way you're going to get that is if the liquidation ends like totally, and then there's a positive catalyst. Right now that's not really happening, right? Like if you go to like the 20-hour chart, whoops, yeah. It's like I don't have that robust bottoming signal yet, and you can see, you see these wicks, like every time this thing shows its face, somebody sells it. It's forced liquidation, and you don't know when forced liquidation ends until you wake up one day and it's up 15%. Like I can use Lux Algo, I can say, all right, yeah, there's people, the heaviest of the heavy puking has already happened. Okay. But can you expect a massive recovery in this unless there's a catalyst? I don't know. It's an object in motion to the downside and people are giving up. That's all you know. When does it end? You'll know when it ends. But you really have to ask yourself, can these guys actually execute on what they've promised? When you have these big, trust me, I've learned this painfully firsthand. Like when you have a big idea, executing on that can take a lot of time. And if people want short-term gratifications in the token, you may have to wait a while. Everybody in crypto wants it right now. I get it. I get it. But it doesn't always work that way. It just doesn't, right? Marvin's been selling rental properties and putting it in crypto. Thanks to the reply, she forgot to mention that the FTX thing could be in Tether. So yeah, money could be coming into the market. Where are they going to put that money actually? Where are they going to put that money? Okay. So Marvin's is also saying, once interest rates start to fall, it will propel Bitcoin. Yeah. As it's traded as a risk on stock. Yeah, man. The second they cut interest rates, dude, because remember, in order for them to cut interest rates, there's going to have to be a crisis or a problem. They're not going to get the numbers to wake up and say, yeah, you know what, let's cut rates. If they did, that would be a sign that there is a problem. That would be something. But yeah, man, the second rates come down, crypto just smokes. Crypto just smokes. And somebody asked about ABT. Okay. Please correct me if I don't have the right symbol. Okay. I'll go with ARC block on Coinbase. Okay. So, this is a little bit more interesting. All right. So it got to a take profit target on Lux Algo at 240 for a short. So that's interesting, right? There is heavy puking with a buy signal 2 days ago. There's a lot of support here, okay? And, it's not surprising that the Williams oscillator is near zero, that you got this pop higher. Now, what I'm going to tell you about this and all other moves like this, look at this heavy selling. This is a 4-hour chart, right? And again, it's really interesting that all these Coinbase charts look like this. You have to wonder whether or not this is Coinbase Ventures headed for the door. You have to ask yourself this question, right? In other words, if I know there might be a problem out there, if you know there might be a problem out there, is some big hedge fund or Coinbase Ventures just liquidating everything? Because how do you get this level of red? I'm new to Lux Algo. I'm like, wow, that's some serious liquidation. And of course it makes sense, right? That's why ABT is up today, because they just stopped. They stopped or they took a break. See what I'm saying? You'll get the reversal, but then somebody has to come in and be willing to pay higher prices, not have a bag holder or whoever's liquidating just continue to sit on it. I hate to say this, but you have bear market price action in certain components of the market. Okay. So I don't want to over talk today. Here's the deal. Oh, True. Sorry. Okay, let's go to True. Okay, now unlike True F, True I'm a little bit more positive on. A lot of guys that watch my regular stream are kind of like, I got this one guy who's like, he's been in DeFi for so long. Been waiting for DeFi to come back, right? All right, so True F, it has got negative money flow liquidation, but it's not as bad as it's been in other coins. There's nothing necessarily here that makes me go, oh my God, but Luxalgo did put out a little buy signal. Really, what's got to happen is, you need people, you need this money flow thing to get green again. Otherwise you may be catching the falling knife. But that said, the buy signal in this thing was around 12 cents. So you're like, okay, Bill, what does that mean? Here's what it means. Not investment advice, but if there was something where I would be like, all right, let's try and hold on. Let's try, in other words, all these Coinbase coins that are down, which one would I not puke? This one. Because it like does a real thing. It's like unsecured lending like a bank on the blockchain. So you have this huge downward sloping wedge with heavy puking, right? Like they're holding this thing down like a basketball underwater, and as soon as they let go, it could pop back up. That's just my opinion about this. So, anything that makes sense, right, that looks like the heavy puking is over, give it a chance. Because you don't know. I mean, it could be a straight up decouple. You could have legacy and banks going down and certain parts of DeFi and crypto going up. You won't know until you try. And I would be more willing to try here, not investment advice, than in some of these other plays where it's obvious somebody is doing a mass liquidation. And, I'm not an Arkham expert, but if I was, I'd be on the blockchain finding out who's selling these coins. Like who is leaning mercilessly on Coinbase coins. Okay. Be patient. Patience matters. Legacy has got serious problems. The political developments matter, right? It matters because if the left somehow figures out a way to become competitive, right? If people scream, oh my God, anything but Bowden, that's going to matter. And I also believe there's a geopolitical and a banking system problem out there, which is why people are parking money in Bitcoin and Solana and getting out of anything else that's risky. The market's telling you what's going to happen. We just don't know what or when. So that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow.